Daniel and his friends ate vegetables and water to be healthy. True or false? I think a lot of people don't fully understand the Daniel fast. They don't fully understand Daniel's reasons for doing the fast. Hello and welcome back. Today we are going to be debunking some myths around the Daniel fast. For those of you who watch a lot of Christian content, you're probably seeing everywhere, especially in the month of January, the Daniel fast. Everyone's doing the Daniel fast. So let's start from the top. We have been reading through the book of Daniel. We've been reading one verse a day for the last several weeks. And so today we got to Daniel 1 verse 12. Here, Daniel says, "Please test your servants for 10 days and let them give us vegetables to eat and water to drink." That is pretty much the foundation of the Daniel fast. They will only eat vegetables and drink water. There is another fast mentioned in the book of Daniel. In Daniel chapter 10 verse 3, he says, "I ate no peasant food, no meat or wine came into my mouth, nor did I anoint myself at all till 3 whole weeks were fulfilled." So this is another mention of another fast where Daniel talks about specific foods he did not have during a period of mourning of 21 days. So you'll see people typically, if they're following this fast, do it for 10 days or for 21 days. I know some people have done it for longer. I personally once did a similar plant-based fast, both for my health and for my spirituality leading up to a surgery I was having. And I just wanted to go into that surgery very healthy and of a sound and peaceful mind. So I did I want to say it was 40 days that I ate. And I'll read from Daniel 1:8 through Daniel 1:12 for context. "But Daniel purposed in his heart that he would not defile himself with the portion of the king's delicacies, nor with the wine which he drank. Therefore, he requested of the chief of the eunuchs that he might not defile himself." Let's talk about the word defiled. That's not a word we really hear every day or use often. But essentially, the word defiled involves this idea of making something impure. So I have an example for us. I have here a delicious bottle of H2O, okay? Delicious, pure, 100% H2O water. Only ingredient was water, and it looks like it has some minerals in it, but you get what I'm saying. This is pure, clear water. It's drinkable. As a matter of fact, let me just take a minute. That's delicious. Okay. All right. So this is pure water, right? This is 100% pure water, okay? If I take this water, and I'm going to drink a little more because okay, if I take this water, and I'm going to add some instant coffee, okay? Because I like coffee, okay? Yummy coffee, yep. Okay, shake it up. Okay, now we have water, yeah? But this water is no longer pure. This water has been mixed with instant coffee, and thus technically this water is now coffee. I've turned this water into coffee by adding instant coffee grounds. This water has been contaminated. This water is no longer pure H2O. And I bet you if I gave up to you and I said, "Oh, would you like some water?" You'd be like, "That's not water. It's brown. What's going on? What's in there? What is it? Is it dirt? Is it coffee? What is it?" So this is the idea behind this idea of being defiled. And it's not just coffee, right? I could add salt. I could add one of my favorites, Crystal Light, okay? All of that is going to take what was pure water and contaminate it and essentially change it, right? You're going to change it from water to something else. Change it from water to lemonade, change it from water to salt water, change it from water to coffee. Daniel, when he says he purposed in his heart that he didn't want to defile himself, he was stating that he wanted to be pure for God. He wanted to be undefiled, uncontaminated, like the pure water that we started off with. He wanted to be pure before God. He wanted to be a pure, God-honoring Jewish man who followed God's law. So That is the meaning behind the word defiled. So it says in verse 9, now God had brought Daniel into the favor and goodwill of the chiefs of the eunuchs. And the chief of the eunuchs said to Daniel, I fear my lord, the king who has appointed your food and drink. For why should he see your faces looking worse than the young men who are your age? Then you would endanger my head before the king. So Daniel said to the steward, whom the chief of the eunuchs had set over Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, please test your servants for 10 days and let them give us vegetables to eat and water to drink. So let's debunk myth number 1. Daniel and his friends ate vegetables and water to be healthy. True or false? Let me give you a second. It's false. Daniel and his friends did not eat vegetables and water because they wanted to be healthy. In fact, Daniel and his friends choosing to eat vegetables and water had nothing to do with their health. Daniel and his friends only ate vegetables and water because they wanted to honor God and obey the Jewish dietary laws. In Leviticus chapter 11, God goes into detail on what the Jews should and should not be eating. In Leviticus chapter 11, he identifies what foods he considers to be clean and thus edible to the Jews, and what foods he considers to be unclean and thus foods the Jews should not be eating. So Daniel, being a descendant of the tribe of Judah, being a good Jewish boy, is following this law, right? Because he wants to honor God. All right, and myth number 2 I want to bust about the Daniel fast. The Daniel fast was only for a certain number of days. So, in Daniel chapter 1, verse 12, Daniel says, please test your servants for 10 days and let them give us vegetables to eat and water to drink. So, yes, Daniel mentions for 10 days, let's run a test on this special way of eating, okay? So let's keep reading in Daniel chapter 15 and really understand how this fast really went, okay? It says, and at the end of 10 days, their features appeared better and fatter in flesh than all the young men who ate the portion of the king's delicacies. Thus, the steward took away their portion of delicacies and the wine that they were to drink and gave them vegetables. So, something to note is from that point on, Daniel and his friends continued to eat this way. You see, the fast wasn't for a set period of time. It was just they ran an initial test, a 10-day test, to confirm that if Daniel and his friends ate this way, they wouldn't become all skinny and unhealthy, because the king wanted them to be strong, and healthy to be able to serve effectively in the kingdom. So Daniel was asking essentially to change the way they ate, so that again, he would not have to defile himself with the king's food. He wanted to avoid eating in a way that was not consistent with the Jewish dietary law indefinitely, not just for a period of time. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you were encouraged by this message. And I encourage you, if you're going to do if you're doing the Daniel fast and it's already on your calendar, you go for it. But you remember to have the right motive and really think about, is it just food God wants me to give up? Or are there other things God might want me to sacrifice? Are there other things I can let go of to draw closer to God and further away from this world and this culture? I hope that this was encouraging to you, and I hope you have an amazing, amazing day. God bless you. May the Lord keep you, and good luck with your fast. Farewell, friends.